So hello, you wonderful citizen of the internet, and welcome to a bit of a waffle about RSD, rejection sensitive dysphoria, which I personally think is about hands down the worst part of having ADHD, because I don't think that rejection sensitive dysphoria is a very good name for it personally, because like when I first heard this, I was like, I don't think I have that because I don't have a huge fear of rejection, like specifically. And I was specifically thinking like relationships rejection, being turned down if you go hit on someone and things like that don't really get to me. I think it's more a case of like huge sensitivity to criticism and being talked about negatively or talked to negatively. Any kind of beef we can't handle, basically all that kind of stuff, I think comes under the category of rejection sensitive dysphoria. And I have found that it has just gotten worse and worse and worse for me over the course of life, and particularly over the course of doing YouTube. Like, one of the reasons I'm making this video, I just saw a thing on TikTok about it, but also I'd been thinking about this since last night, because I got into some like really low level, really pointless, really like not particularly aggressive, but minor beef with someone on Facebook yesterday. And it really fucked me in the head. Like that evening, like all I got was like this one negative comment from this guy. And I'm like, you know, typing back. And then I had to take fucking 2 sleeping pills. I had to fiddle about with like every crystal in my possession, just doing everything I could to chill out. I could not get this shit out of my head at all. And I think one of the reasons it fucked me up so hard was because it was on Facebook, and I don't like, Facebook is my one remaining safe space. And doing YouTube, I feel like I've now ended up with a certain level of PTSD around hate coming at me. Like that, you know, there are certain words and phrases, and some of them will be very unexpected. I'm not going to list them all for obvious reasons. Like it would just be giving the trolls ways to shoot me. But there are a lot of words out there now. If I see them just like in an article or whatever, I'm like, I immediately have this like panic reaction to them, because it just flashes me straight back to like big time like blow ups when there's been so much drama and so much beef going on. Because the thing with RSD is that there is this big debate about whether rejection sensitive dysphoria is something that just comes with ADHD and something that you're born with ADHD, or whether it's something that is basically a form of CPTSD and something that develops over time. Because people with ADHD, I'm so sorry, I've forgotten the statistic. I know it's something massive. There is like, it's a massive, scary statistic. But when you're growing up, particularly with undiagnosed ADHD, you are confronted with a crazy amount more negative messages. It's something like 20,000 more negative messages will be received by children by the time they're about 10. So obviously, you know, the world becomes a very negative place, and people are very negative about you and very negative to you when you have ADHD, that you will be told that you're annoying, that you need to shut up, you're boring people, and you're being selfish. And just, you know, it goes on and on and on, you know, or it's going to be things like, you know, why can't you concentrate on this? Why are you so lazy? Those are the other ones that you get a lot, is why are you so lazy? Why are you always fucking around in class? Why can't you concentrate on this? You're so much cleverer than this. I know you could do better than this. You just need to try harder, all these things. So I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of nature and nurture, honestly, that you're born with a slightly more sensitive disposition. And I think particularly if you're an ADHD person, so you have autism and ADHD, you have the heightened sensitivity of autism, and then you've got all these negative messages coming at you. And I think the combination of both does turn you into someone who jumps at their own shadow when it comes to negativity and criticism. And it's, you know, it's really silly. Because there's things like, if I've written a news story or something and I want someone to beta read it, I will edit and 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 edit the story for every beta reader. Like every single one of them, I have to put myself in their head and read the whole bloody thing through, and then the next person, and the next person, the next person. And then I'll hand it over, I'll do the thing, I'll give it to them. And then I will just dodge them for potentially weeks, potentially forever. I will dodge them because I know that they are going to critique my writing. And it's like like I need to know, but I don't want to know. And I just put so much pressure on myself about these things, and it's ridiculous, which is why the last thing I gave a beta reader to, I did use someone I knew I could trust to be very nice about their feedback. If you've been reading the Nostalgia Project or Millennium Gothic, that will be Luke. I gave him to be my beta reader. You might not think Luke would be the kind of person to go to be nice about something, given a lot of you seem to think he was a complete sociopath. He's not a complete sociopath. He's lovely. And he gave me very good criticism, actually. And he gave it to me in a very nice way. We were face to face, actually. We were face to face, and it still didn't send me running, screaming, tearing my hair out down the stairs. So you have to be really careful about the kinds of people you ask for any kind of critique, particularly on like your passions and your projects and the things that like hold a really big piece of your soul. You have to be so careful about the people you ask for criticism. Even if you get like one and you get like 10,000 nice messages, you're probably going to forget 99% of the nice ones, but the bad one, the bad single one, you will take to heart. It will burn itself into your soul, and you will recite it to yourself every night as you're falling asleep. It's that kind of shit. And obviously, if you do set off someone with ADHD, if you do set off their rejection sensitive dysphoria, how they're going to react to it is probably going to be quite explosive, because obviously the other thing with ADHD is, impulsivity and emotional dysregulation. So when we have emotions about these things, they're very, very, very big emotions that we cannot calm down on our own. So whether that makes someone rage out, whether it makes them freak out, whether it makes them want to hide in a hole forever, it's going to be a really big emotion. And when you pair that with the impulsivity and often with the kind of not so great coping mechanisms, it can be really, really, really dangerous. Like I've said before, that when it comes to content creators and drama blowing up around them, I've said before that I suspect probably almost all content creators have considered suicide when drama blows up around them. Lately, though, I'm beginning to think, like, is it though? Or is that just you and all the other people who have kind of your issues, whereby the everyone hates me feeling is like the end of the world to you? So you do just think, I can't live with this, everyone hates me, this is the end of the world, let's make it the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like your brain can go to some really very dangerous places. So I would say, if you do have ADHD friends and you see them getting into any kind of anything online, anyone being negative to them online or in person, or you just see them being very negative and down about themselves, I would say check on that person and make sure they're not doing anything ill-advised to cope with their feelings, because it is difficult and it is shitty. And yeah, it's funny because there are so many ADHD content creators out there. Every one of them is really risking their life and their sanity by putting themselves out there for so much criticism and hate coming at them. I do think like the younger ones probably walk much the same path as I did, that you'll probably find that a lot of the younger ones do not seem bothered or just snap back very aggressively and just seem to, kind of carry their own weight in terms of arguments and all of that. Because I think these things get to you less when you're a little bit younger, when you're a teenager. I don't know, you just have that invincibility of youth, and then you get older and all you want is just peace. You just want a more of a peaceful existence by the time you get to about my age. And that means that when people disturb that peace, you just can't fucking be doing with it at all. But anyway, that's been my experience of RSD, rejection sensitive dysphoria. So tell me about yours. What forms does yours take? Is it more simple and more classic rejection that you fear? Or is it like, say, with me, like anything negative and criticism-y and all of that gets to you? Do you think it's nature or nurture? Yeah, when did you first notice these things? Because it's crazy, actually, when I look back to high school and just like literally the amount of negativity and hate coming at me in high school, I'm like, you were one tough little motherfucker, like teenage me. Like, seriously, I don't know how they got through that at all. Like, I mean, fuck, I feel grateful in many ways not to have been a teenager when the internet was around and you could be bullied at home as well over the internet. Like, that is, like, I have no words for how terrifying that is, and I have words for everything. But in my case, it meant that there was no escape either. There was no way of finding friends or venting or anything. Like, you came home and there was no way to unwind. You couldn't go out anywhere in your town because obviously all your bullies lived all around you. And this was when bullies would always be out and about playing in the streets and playing down the park and all of that. You couldn't go out anywhere. So you were just trapped in your house, emotionally unregulated, and with all the shit that was going on, going round and round and round your head about how much everyone hated you and all of this, and you'd just be broiling in other people's hate, for like 5 years of high school straight. I don't know how I survived that. I really don't. So yes, tell me about your experiences of RSD if you have it. If you're a purebred autism person without ADHD, tell me, do you think you get RSD too? Because a lot of my life I thought I was a purebred autism person. Like, the ADHD diagnosis is fairly new to me. Still, it's been about a year since I was diagnosed, and about 2 years before that I was kind of, I think this is a thing. But yes, since learning I'm not a purebred autistic person, it's now very confusing working out what signs and symptoms come from which side of the thing. And I have seen interesting videos about the ways that ADHD kind of covers up autism symptoms, and that's something I might have to talk about at some point. But anyway, this is long now, so I'm going to shut up. But if you have other things that are related to ADHD or autism, or both, that you would like me to talk about, please drop it below. Literally shutting up now, so over and out. Here is my bat. He's wonderful. Yay! Okay, bye-bye.